I want to show you today how you can play the 3 hardest shots that I think are known in golf. Number 1, we're going to look at how you play out of a divot. Number 2, playing out of thick rough. And then what we see, well, all the pros seem to master, but we get so wrong, playing out of long bunker shots. Wow. Now, none of this is very technical, all just simple adjustments you can make, but are guaranteed to help you hit better shots. We have finished right slap bang on 150 yards. Now, when you're in this situation, you're probably going to go automatically down that route of maybe 6 iron, 7 iron, probably. So I'll go with 7 iron. So there are some rules of thumb that you have to use here when you've got horrendous lies just like that. I mean, many of us get in this situation and hit that thumbs up button if you agree with this, and just a bit of a hidden hope. You get there and you just think, oh well, it's it. Well, I get it, I do get it. So, what I want you to think about here is, you're going to get away with 7 iron probably here, but if you were a little bit further away from the green, you have to understand that when you've got a situation like this, a bit more loft is your friend. So if you're around 180 yards, I would probably still use around 7 iron, except that I'm going to play short of the green, short of the bunkers, because that's going to be able to control the outcome a little more. In this situation right now, we can probably still go for the green. Actually, no, probably about it, you can. So you've got enough loft in your hand. I want you to grip down on it so you're getting a bit closer towards the old steel and the old graphite, whatever you've got in your clubs. I then want you to now, as you move to the face-on perspective, this is where I would usually have my 7 iron ball position, just sort of ahead of my zip line. I'm now going to put it towards the back of my zip line, move my weight onto my left. Because it's not easy for me to get to the back of that ball, like off the fairway, I need to get steeper into it, okay? So I'm going to realise and understand that putting the ball back, getting my hands forward, is going to help me hit down on this golf ball just a little bit more. Now, come here, have a look at this shot. So things you've got to anticipate here is that because you've made those adjustments, that ball is going to come out just that little bit lower. Okay, so anticipate a lower ball flight. So some skills here that you're really starting to develop of how you play the shot, what you can anticipate. You're starting to control the outcome that before you just stood there hitting and hoping. Right, let's hit this one away and we'll move on to the next shot. So ball back, weight left. I'm going to actively try and hit down on this golf ball a fair amount. Look how low that's come out. And we're sort of pin eye just right side of the green. Look at that. So you can really see how much steeper I got into the ball. It's not a pretty shot. It's a shot we've got to learn, a shot we've got to understand how to play, because guaranteed you're going to get in it more often than not. Let's go to the next one. Second on our list, and hopefully you now have a really good routine to use when you're in a divot. Hard, aren't they? But it's something, just go and try it. Even just after you've hit a shot into a par 4 or par 5, just put in a divot and try the technique, because it's something you have to be good at to become a more established player. Let's look at this now. Now that is tough. Thick rough, the shaft can get tangled in it. Few things you've got to be wary of here. So I'm just going to grab my 6 iron. Now I know it's not 6 iron here, but this is a blanket statement. So watch this. I'm going to grip that golf club nice and square. I'm going to swing through this thick rough. Hold it back to you now. Look where that club is now closed. Like, I'm not moving my hands, it's twisted in my hands. So anytime that happens, we're reducing that loft the club has at impact, and this ball is more likely to spurt out low and left. Now, there's a few things that you can do to combat this. Always use the most lofted club you can. Now, I appreciate that is sort of a wishy-washy statement, but if it is really seriously that thick, just go 58. If it's not so thick, think more like pitching wedge 9 iron. But I would always say this to you. You don't get it out in one, you're staring a double or more in the face. Get it out, get it back in play, you're therefore more likely to only maybe cost yourself a bogey. So, loft is your friend, because even if it turns down, it's still going to have enough loft on there to get through. So I always aim a little bit right of target, grip, hold on nice and tight, and I always try and feel as though I'm hitting a bit of a punch shot, really hitting down and punching it, because I feel it's going to control that club head from not wrapping over, but staying a little bit squarer for longer. So let's take this shot here. I mean, it's going to take a miracle for me to hit the green, I reckon 90-ish yards, usually around 58, 54. But here we go. I've got 58 in my hand. Aiming a little bit right. I'm going to try and punch it out there. Here we go. I mean, look at where my club head's finished. I mean, that is honestly the best I could have hoped for. You saw how that club just got caught up. Avoiding these situations and not making a hash of them is so key to lowering your scores. I'm over the moon with that. Let's move on to our final one, the long bunker shot. I can feel the shivers down your spine already. Let's go over there. Finally, the long bunker shot. Have a look at this shot right now. Now, this strikes fear into all of us. Hard, isn't it? Look at that. I mean, we're below the surface of the green. It makes it even harder. Anyway, most of us would sort of go, we're in a bunker, 58 is the club. Blanket statement, I'm going to get 58 out. Well, I don't want you to do that anymore. Repeat that again, I do not want you to do that anymore. When you're faced with a long bunker shot, I want you to look more into the realms of your gap wedge, so 50, 52, or even your pitching wedge. But use the same technique. Now, you're going to love this analogy. I was teaching the other day, and me and the client that I had at the time were making this analogy of, right, okay, well, chipping and bunkers, it's like always having the same drill, but just changing the screw end. So you're doing the same technique, but just changing what you're putting in the end of the drill to change the task or the shot that you're about to hit. I do hope that makes sense. I think it does. It made sense to us anyway. So I want you to leave your most lofted club on the side. I want you to be looking more gap wedge, pitching wedge, because that's going to require you to not have to hit it so hard. It's going to allow you to play it a little bit more sedately, a little bit more like if you were just greenside. So I've gone pitching wedge here, which is going to surprise you all. I'm going to address it exactly the same. I've got a half decent lie. Ball position just inside my left heel. I'm going to grip it with that face open. I'm going to sit down, weight left, and I'm going to use the exact same technique. All I'm doing is changing the club. And there we go. It makes that shot so much easier. In fact, let's run up to the green and have a look where that one's finished. Come on. So I put the same effort as if I was hitting a green side bunker shot to if I was hitting that one right there. If I used my 58, I would have had to hit it so much harder. Like if you were trying to hit your 58 100 yards or your pitching wedge 100 yards, your 58 is going to require so much more speed. Have a look at that. Have a look at that badger. So you've made what is an extremely hard situation, didn't get it, a lot more stress-free. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I really do hope you enjoyed it. Simple ways to tackle 3 of the hardest shots.